No, if anything, I'm a yellow shirt.
No, you're
I
a red
get killed
shirt.
off in special episodes.
No, you're a red shirt. You die every episode.
Nah. Yellow's where it's at.
I know Star Wars 2.
Please, we're talking Firefly.
Oh, dear God.
I thought about saying Firefly, but then that'd probably get you started, so I wasn't going to. But you know what we can't get started?
What can we get started?
Nothing.
Oh.
Or the
Why not
episode.
the sync?
Or the episode. Thanks, Dick.
Wow, you just stole his thunder.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's episode 21
Are we sure?
of The Sync.
I'm not really sure.
Well, then figure it out.
You're in charge.
Yeah, and I said it's episode 21.
Okay.
It's not my fault if you don't believe me.
It's completely your fault.
He
Nope.
gets to say what episode it is. You want to say it's episode 22? Should we just make this 22?
Nah.
Okay.
So that'll get confusing.
I'm going to beat him, Fred.
But it is episode 21, part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Volume 1.
So, I have not much to talk about. I went old English there.
I have not much to talk about.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about this week. So I figure we ought to just start with the big thing that we all want to talk about. Well, I know Steve wants to talk about.
My Little Pony?
Yeah. They got new armor and weapons in My Little Pony.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited. I want that pink pony. No.
I like the horseshoes that they added.
All right, look.
new
Nobody
horseshoes.
asked you. You fucking wanker.
He got there.
I was curious which way you were going with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
where I
did
was going.
British. Okay.
Did you watch it, Skyler? Did you watch the Destiny stream?
I actually didn't see the stream, but I've seen a couple videos of different like
The parts of
reviews
it?
or parts. Yeah.
Did you see any of the new armor?
Some, not all.
I don't know if you guys saw my text, but the new Oryx ornaments make the Oryx armor, unfortunately for Titans, it still looks pretty craptastic.
Excuse me.
It looks pretty craptastic.
As a Titan who wears the chest and butt towel.
You don't wear the chest anymore. You have the snowflake chest. You
Here, can
have
we-
thrown and cast that one to the wind.
Here, can we
That's true,
pull it up
actually.
on the screen?
I'm looking for it. Hold your horses.
Oh, okay. Just so we can have, our viewer weigh in on this.
Yeah, actually, I like the look of the armors and what they've done with it.
I like that they're based off of like the bosses. Well, looking at I like the Crota one that it's all just spiky.
What I like is their big influence for all of them is you've spent so much time in these raids and these areas that your armor is starting to reflect that.
Okay, so
Well, that was kind of-
here's Vault of Glass. At least the original concept art.
Very Gorgon heavy for the Warlock.
Yeah, the Warlocks. It's got the harpy tethers that come off. That's actually the ornament for the Titans. It's the shield.
Which I don't like.
Yeah, and then the Hunters, it just kind of makes you all glow. The one thing I do like about, at least with the Warlock and the Hunter, you've got the Vex legs. Like when you looked at them in the game, they could just cut your fucking legs off, and it's a full robot foot.
I would like to see them explain that in some way, like in game.
It's just it's an
amazing.
ornament. It's visually changing it.
No, the actual leg is not an ornament. The whole leg becomes a Vex foot. Like when you look at the Hunter right here, yeah,
I'm
that's
trying
not a
to
foot.
make logic.
There's no logic. Fuck you and your
Because
logic.
they do it with the Hunter arm too.
Yeah.
I do like that they're kind of returning to that because the first two raids, the armor was very much meant to look like you made it out of what you killed. I mean, the Titan headpiece was a Vex skull mounted to your face.
Yeah.
And in Dark Below, all the armor was like made out of bones and stuff.
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
You slow your roll.
Well, I get what you're saying though. I mean, even with Oryx, it was like everything was made from.
It was
parts
based
of
off the
hide,
bosses. That one looked
but-
more like it was themed. The first two looked like you literally just like took parts of the enemies to make your armor.
That's what I really like about this is it's not. They've gone beyond just, oh, you've taken bits and pieces, but you've been in there so long that you've made those places your armor.
Yeah.
Like you've taken apart the Vex, the so many Vex that you've killed. You've used their armor to make your own.
Well, and it's very reminiscent of other MMOs, the highly stylized raid sets.
Plus, I love the blue glow on Vaulted Glass.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks really good.
The Vex were cool. I'm sad that we haven't seen any of them since year 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you look closely, I mean, on the Warlock, you can kind of see the legs. The Hunter is just the complete left half of their body has gone Vex.
The Hunter becomes a robot.
And then the Titan becomes Atheon.
Which, am I wrong? That armor is still designed in a similar fashion as the original.
Oh, it very much looks
very
similar.
Very close to it, especially the Warlock stuff from Crota, which is right here.
Yeah, and it very much so.
So the Crota stuff, I mean, the Warlock chest, it looks amazing, especially with all the 3-dimensional horns. The best part about these is the fact that when you take damage, all the ornaments disappear and then slowly regrow.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. And actually, I think all the Hive ones at least do that.
So do.
So does the Siva.
So does the Siva, and so does the Oryx. I just don't think that the Vex does it.
Yeah, which is Hive.
The Vex might have
Oryx
like a
is Hive.
recharge look to it.
Possibly.
They didn't show anything off, so I don't think so.
But for at least for these, like you've got all the green that's sticking off. When you take damage, all the green disappears.
That's pretty cool.
Let me see if I can actually find if they've got a photo.
The thing is, in game, it is super bright.
Yeah, here it is.
You are a spotlight.
Here's what the Titan looks like.
Well, everyone's favorite shader is still Glowhoo.
I want to see Glowhoo on this.
Yep, here's the Hunter.
That would be a fucking sun.
Glowhoo.
And then there's the Warlock.
Which those aren't great images.
They're
but-
not the best quality. I mean, they're screenshots taken from during the stream. But yeah, they are bright and fantastical.
What I like about the Crota's armor is everyone has this sort of necromancy look to them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do a good job of theming it off of the area from what I've been seeing. I mean, as we saw, the Vex, everything looks like you are becoming a machine, which is part of the idea of that raid.
Yeah.
It's just the mechanicalness of it. And then with Crota and Oryx, I mean, it's very much, these are space wizards that raise the dead.
Well, see, like the Warlock is the only one I can see Space Wizard. The Titan and the Hunter, I don't. Other than the ornaments, I don't see a heavy.
Well, I think it's because if you look at it, the Warlock is based off of the Gravesingers. She's supposed to look like a witch. The Titan is supposed to look like a knight, and the Hunters are supposed to look like acolytes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and what I mean is like on the chests, the emblems kind of scratched into the
Oh,
armor.
Yep, that's kind of cool.
All the glowy bits just look like this magic essence that's kind of flowing off of you, which I guess is the point. It's supposed to be like the hive energy.
Crota was very, like, scratched and hashed. A lot of it looked very decayed, whereas Oryx was more...
We'll get to Oryx.
We'll get to
'cause
Oryx, 'cause
we'll get to Oryx.
They
I got things to
actually
talk about.
covered how they designed Oryx's with the ornaments. So let me pull up Oryx real quick.
But yeah, it all kind of looks, from Crota anyway, it all looks kind of barbaric.
Yeah, I know at least before this, the original Oryx armor, they said they had initially gone for that sense of, like, grotesque repulsion. It was supposed to be very gory,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I'd say this nails it.
Well,
Oh,
this
it
is,
absolutely does.
This is Oryx.
It, honestly...
See, I've never been a big fan of the Titan stuff. One, I don't like the leg pieces at all. That's just my personal thing.
Yeah.
The arms were always just a little too bulky. I liked the chest piece because it was simple, but you could tell that it was boned. And then the helmet is just... You gotta... What is the triangle hat that the revolutionaries used to wear? That's what it looks like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The, like, pilgrim hat thing?
No, not the pilgrim hat. It was like the triangle hat that they wore during the revolution.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The boat hat.
Sure.
Like a boat captain hat.
Sure.
No idea.
But, so you got that. So, but the Titan, they just look... I mean, it's supposed to be War Priest. I see that. That's exactly who it is.
I like the look of the armor. I do feel all the other armor to me looks way new, like way different than its original set. It still has the same roots. This to me looks like they added new pieces. Like they just put new stuff on the old set.
That's pretty much what they did. They just made it grow, but you can see like all the blue. It's just like the taken energy is just starting to make the armor crack.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. Don't get me wrong.
I love it because it is more restrained than the Crota armor, because the Crota is super bright green and the energy is there. The blue glow looks kind of like what we were talking about. Looks more regal. Looks more, not like you just killed some monster, but that you just killed a king, and this is the armor you're walking away from.
Yeah.
Or walking away from it with.
Yeah, see, here it is. Like on the hunter, I mean, it looks like the chest piece, it's starting to crack. The helmet is, instead of it just being that one face mask, it's actually got the blue glow to it now.
I know they have a set that's entirely based on making you look like you're taken. I will say it was a bold move not to use that as the ornament for the new raids. I thought for sure that's what it would be.
I'm happy they didn't.
Yeah, it was a bold move, and it pays off.
But I like that, for the hunters, they gave the cloak, instead of just having the claw teeth that came in on the hood, it's actually got that whole bone structure that's all over it. They did more definition on the bones on...
The hunter has a fucking shark fin.
Yeah, he does.
Yep. It's kind of awesome.
I like on the warlock, instead of it just being that one dome, it's got, he's actually got the horns. It looks like more stuff is covered with bone. I'm happy that they did that with the warlocks. You guys know how I feel about Wally.
It looks like an evolution of the original raid set, which there's something to be said. It's a cool idea. I personally like the Vex and the Crota armor a little bit more, but maybe that's also my bias of... To me, I feel like they're so much better than the original set.
Well, yeah, this seems to be a lot of just getting all the raid armor to the same level. Mm-hmm. So for Vault of Glass and Crota's End, it's going to seem like a much bigger leap forward.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot more to go.
I can see the reason behind putting so much new design into those and leaving the others similar.
Yeah. See, I actually disagree. I love the Vault of Glass. I mean, I think we're all agreed there.
Yeah.
But I don't like the Crota stuff. I think it's too much. I think it's a little over the top, which is why I love the subdued regal look of the Oryx armor.
Okay.
The new Kingsfall armor.
I haven't seen the Axis armor, to be honest.
I'm pulling it up. I'm trying to find it because they made it different. Okay, so here's a slow look at each individual piece for the hunters.
Oh yeah, and the energy on the Oryx gear does the same thing like the Crota gear. It'll fade in and out as you take damage.
Yeah.
Which looks really good.
Okay, cool. Here's the Wrath of the Machine for the hunters.
So it's just more fractured?
No, they added the fracturedness. Like, there's little bits and pieces that float off of the armor. Like, the Siva has literally gone critical.
Well, I thought that the ornament for the current one did that, where it's like it starts glowing
it just makes
and floating off.
Yeah, that's all it does is just make it glow. This actually has detailed animations. Like, it literally, like, the stuff will just kind of flow off of your chest. On the Warlock helmets, it's like a digital path that just races across the face.
It's actually really impressive. It looks like they've got particle effects coming off of every single armor piece.
Okay, like right here on the legs, this little digital bit will move all around that piece. So, they said this is the most detailed armor they have ever done in the game.
And it shows. I mean, there's a lot going on with all the armor. A little much, actually. Like the shoulders, I think, are the best part of all three characters.
You did watch the stream, didn't you, Fred?
Yeah.
Is it me, or did they shrink the Titan butt cape? It's not as...
If anything, it looks longer.
Yeah,
it looks longer, but it doesn't look as wide. Like, it only covers... Like, the one you have, the current one, it pretty much covers the entire back half. This one looks like it just covers just the right-hand side like all the others.
No, it looks about the same.
Does it?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, your current one does look like you just wrapped a bath towel around yourself.
My current one is the original...
Right, that's
Oryx.
what I mean. Like, it is pretty big.
Yeah, it's really big. That's what I liked about it. It covered my ugly ass.
All right, here's Wrath of the Machine for the Titans. So, the back of the helmet is all spectry. Their shoulder pieces are literally the top half. It's just disintegrated, floaty little bits.
Yeah, like I was saying, the shoulders are the coolest part because it's got these bits and pieces just constantly flowing off of them. It look really cool across all three characters.
Yeah,
I still think the Titan armor looks hideous.
They made the boots better, though, with the ornaments, because now instead of it being the check marks like Nike, it's, that whole full... the legs look more bulky and cumbersome.
It just looks like spandex.
To me, the Titans only ever had one good set of armor, or I shouldn't say one good set, but like one good run. And that was like Dark Below to House of Wolves. They had really good Titan armor. And after that, the Titan started to get really top heavy.
Yeah, and I hate that. This feels almost too lean to be a Titan.
Oh, shit.
And there it goes.
Yeah, so, then there's the back, the boots. I don't know, the boots feel better this time because it's not just shoes. They added calf or thigh armor, too.
I'll be honest, I never got the boots from the raid.
I love all of the Warlock armor. I think they did a fantastic job across the board.
Overall, yeah, I like the armor. I mean, I can't wait to use all that Vault of Glass armor.
See, the legs, literally, it's just, they turn the Warlock feet into Vex legs. That's awesome.
Yeah, Vault of Glass was a very cool, iconic set. Now, granted, at that time, that was really the only armor you could wear if you were at that level.
Yeah.
That was before you could, like, infuse stuff. But that was still, like, to me, that's one of the most iconic sets in the game.
And then here's the Warlock Wrath of the Machine weekly challenge ornaments.
See, I knew it. Warlocks have no heart.
Yeah, see, this is...
Oh, yeah.
Out of all of them that they've done, I swear to God, this is the Warlock's got the most detail. And I'm sure people will argue with me about this. But the hole in the center of the Warlock chest is the biggest and most noticeable. Their shoulder pads are pretty much gone. And their helmet, literally all of that just is digitized, running around. It's fantastic.
It looks really cool. That's one area I've been jealous playing as a Titan. The Warlock armor looks pretty good in most cases.
I'll be honest, when I first started playing Destiny during like the beta, I started with a Warlock because I said, oh man, I want that like sick trench coat. The only reason why I started a Hunter when I got the game is I thought that there might be like trench coat armor for Hunters. I was really disappointed.
The only real cool armor that I have found for Warlocks, and this is just playing all of Year 2 and Year 3, when they came out with the Chroma set for the April update last year, and the Future War Cult got the true trench coat. That was awesome. And then the Rise of Iron, the Days of Iron armor, that's pretty cool.
Warlocks have had a lot of good coats.
But see, that's the thing, though. It's a lot of it, like, for the stuff you get from the Vanguard now, it's just like that Shaman Shahiki Swahili Steve outfit. Well, remember Swahili Steve. He was a god.
There's a reason you put him away.
Yeah, there is. He was too powerful.
Sure, we'll go with power.
He was overpowered.
He was so ugly.
The only thing I don't like about modern Warlocks right now is their bonds. I don't like that holographic projection shit that comes off of their arm. I think it's annoying as hell.
I get why you say that. I just find it funny because every comment leading up to Year 3 was, can you at least make the Warlock bonds noticeable?
Fuck.
And they did.
They made them noticeable. It sticks out. It's annoying as hell. My favorite bond was the Oryx bond. It had that subtle green glow underneath it, and that was it.
A lot of people had cape envy because Hunters have such like, I mean, it's the defining part of a Hunter.
All right, well, we don't want to get into Hunter envy because my Warlock can become a Titan.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that's where a lot of the original hate came from, is the Hunter class item usually defined the look of the Hunter.
Sure.
And for Titans and Warlocks, I mean,
the Titans
it doesn't stand out.
The Titans had the butt cape, and it was a lot more stand out. And I will agree that the Warlock bonds up until this point were very, very hidden. It just kind of blended into the armor, which sucks. But we had the most flowy outfits.
Oh, you by far, I think, have the best like armor sets appearance-wise as a whole.
I mean, the fact that we got the whole fucking trench coat from Future War Cult, and then we've got the full robes that can transform into Titan wannabe armor.
I'd say Titans probably got the rough end of the stick. Hunters, there is like two shaders that look good on a Hunter.
Here's the thing. You say Titans got the rough end of the stick. Did I not just hear the Warlocks want to be like Titans?
I mean, you cannot deny my fucking wannabe Warlock Titan. And if I have to, I will get some game footage that we can put in, and I'll beg Fred to throw it in there. I will show the world my wannabe Warlock Titan. I will show this to the world.
You mean you want to be Titan Warlock? Your Warlock that wants to be like a Titan.
That's my Warlock wants to be a Titan. God damn it!
Everyone wants to be a Titan, and I completely understand why.
I mean, I could do Titan hammers. It's just grenades.
It's the funny thing is, I don't know what armor piece it is, but you look like a Titan down almost to the butt towel. You really do.
Yeah, I'm the Titan without the butt towel. That's exactly what I look like.
No, because your little chains, it looks like you have a butt towel.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'm excited to see what they're doing with the armor. The bigger part, though, they are bringing back primary elementals.
Before we get into weapons, there's armor you forgot.
Oh yeah, the Age of Triumph armor. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I did see something about it here. I completely forgot about that stuff, Fred. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. You should be.
Okay, I'm sorry, Massa.
So this is the stuff that comes from the treasure chests and doing the quest lines and stuff. They did say that through doing the quest line, you should get access to, or you have a chance of getting everything just through the regular quest line.
You get 3 chests per week, and the only way you can get the class item is by doing the speaker's quest line.
No, you can actually get any of the armor through the quest line, if I'm understanding what they said correctly.
No, it was just the...
Because Deej made a couple comments right there when they were talking about it that were kind of confusing. At one point... Sorry, one sec, Skyler.
Go ahead.
But at one point he said that... one of the guys on the party couch said that you could get all of this armor by just doing the quest line. And then Deej came in and said something a little bit different. I can't remember exactly what he said. But it just made me think that you can get it, or at least have a chance of getting it through the quest line.
Because they said the only way you can get the class items was by doing the missions for the speaker.
My understanding is the class items were tied to the quest. All the other armor was tied to the boxes.
Yes.
The ornaments are tied to the treasure chests completely.
Well, I couldn't find the 3 picture that I found before. Actually, hang on. I did see it at some point. Hold on. I'm sorry.
It's like I'm trying to think of anything to vamp with. I got nothing. Should I go on about Metal Gear Solid 4's vamp again?
They are bringing back elemental weapons while we're waiting for the armor.
But we're not getting to those yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
There's a lot to talk about with those weapons.
Here it is.
Thank Christ. I was running out of ideas.
Okay, so that's pretty much all I can give you. But
that's plenty.
They said it was really remnant of Year 1 armor.
It absolutely is Year 1 armor.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'd have to take a second look to make sure. I'm pretty sure they took the armor that was the original cover of the game and recolored it and retextured it.
That I don't know 100%, but I do know, looking at both the Warlock and the Titan, because those are the 2 Year 1 characters I had, it's absolutely Year 1 to the T.
I can guarantee you the Titan, at least, is the Titan from the cover, from the original cover of the game.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Double check, but
that is the Hunter. I do recognize the visor. That is the Hunter.
I think that's like the original cover armor.
And they said that this is just going to have just regular base chroma.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
There's icons and all kinds of glowy bits on it that are all chroma.
So like the little dragons here, the little front piece here.
Which it's one of the few, if not only, class items that have chroma designed into
There's
them.
A couple that do.
Yeah, all of the when they released the April update last year, a lot of the class items that came out with that had chroma ability.
Oh, I guess I assumed they didn't, or that there weren't many, because they made a mention of that.
Yeah, they did. I remember they did make a mention, but I think they were just I think they honestly forgot what they put out in the April update.
Wouldn't surprise me. Most people have.
When they did Year 3 and they did the whole push for ornaments, they really stopped doing anything with chroma.
Which is why I'm sure, because I think there was only like maybe 1 or 2. No, there was 1 class item from each of the 3 vendors: New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, and Future War Cult. There's 1 from the Speaker, or 1 from the Vanguard, and 1 from the Crucible.
Right,
so that's 5 total.
To be fair, and maybe this is just me, I know there's some really good pieces. I always looked at like the faction gear as it's just a reskin of previous gear.
It is
false. Year 2, when they redid the April update stuff, I've never seen a trench coat, a true duster style trench coat like they had for the Future War Cult.
All the Year 2 stuff looked to me like previous gear I'd seen before in Year 1.
Find me a trench coat.
Okay. No, it's not to say they haven't added some new stuff. I can't say for certain because it's the redheaded stepchild of gear to me. Like it's it's kind of cool, but really I want this piece.
Which piece?
I want to go get the Trials gear. Or I want to go get the Raid gear or the Iron Banner gear. I'll wear this until I get a piece I like. Like, it always felt to me like not the best gear. Even though there's good pieces, I know that.
The faction gear just felt like this is the default gear to make you feel like you've done something. Now go do raids, and then you can get the good gear.
Yeah. It felt like
It's like the starter of, hey, you're in the end game now. Here's your fancy looking armor. Go get better armor. That's kind of what I always saw faction armor as.
And maybe that's bias from back when the faction armor was worse than the stuff you could get in strikes. So that might be some bias, but
Arguably still is.
Yeah, because shit from strikes still drops at 3. When you get it out of the chest, it drops at 400.
I will say...
Oh, light level wise, definitely. Because faction gear is only 390, which fucking irritates me.
I do kind of like how right at the very end, they're paying so much attention to back when it launched.
Well, this whole thing with Age of Triumph is this is you reminiscing over everything you have done in Destiny.
Right, but I mean like with the Age of Triumph armor being based on the launch armor.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like it really is a lot of the quote-unquote magic moments of Destiny that most players probably got to experience was right when they started playing. And then there was a lot of dry spells in between. I think focusing on where that big burst of magic happened is a really, really good idea for them.
Yeah, focusing on the early days, one, is nostalgic. People get to look back and remember, man, this game sucked ass. But it wasn't as bad as it ended up at points.
Yeah, it actually, as weird as it sounds, it makes the parts that sucked feel like we earned something for it.
Like that big drought year 2.
Yeah, like, look at how far we've come.
Between Sparrow Racing and the April update, yeah.
It's like when you look back down the mountain, you're like, yeah, it sucked to climb this thing, but now look at this view.
Are you specifically referring to the Iron Temple Mountain?
No, actually, I'm referring to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but we're not going to go into that.
No Zelda!
Why the hell would you... God damn
We
it.
have talked about Zelda for the last, 6 fucking weeks. We're not talking Zelda or Wii U or Switch or nada! So that's all I have to say about that. Sorry, Fred. Go ahead.
We can... one little detail they kind of threw out there, kind of half-assed. All the ornament tokens can be used on any of the new raid gear.
Yes.
You don't have to get specific Crota ornament.
So if you do the Wrath of the Machine 390 challenge mode, you can put those ornaments on Vault of Glass.
I really enjoy that, if only for the reason that I know for a fact what's going to happen is the first couple weeks, we're going to get every single challenge mode done. And then we're going to get where it's every other week or every couple of weeks. And I'm just going to wind up, if it were raid specific, I'd wind up with 16 ornaments for Wrath of the Machine and never get any for Dark Below.
Well, they said the only way you can get the ornaments is by doing the challenge modes.
Right, but I'm saying I like that you don't have to do that raid specifically.
Sure.
So when we never wind up doing Axis, because our group's been doing that for so long.
And it's the worst raid.
We can't get anybody to fucking do Axis. That's the problem.
Because it's the worst raid.
So when we do
Oryx?
Vault of Glass every week, and we wind up with tons of ornaments from that, I can be okay with the fact that I haven't done the challenge mode in Axis.
So I'm going to go out here on a limb for raids and go the worst one, from worst to best, it's Axis.
No.
Vault of Glass, Oryx, and then Crota.
Are you saying
I disagree.
best to worst?
Worst to best.
I hands
If
down
you're saying
disagree.
Axis is the best fucking raid, I'm going to beat you with this PVC and then force your ass out and then shove it so far up your ass, you're going to be tasting PVC primer for the next week.
But after he's left?
I
So
am
you're
going
going to chase
say,
him with it?
I am going to say Dark Below, worst raid. If you played through it before you were overpowered, it was broken, buggy, and it was not fun at all. It was just a grind.
Let me clarify a little bit. First off, you're remembering bad experiences with these raids, not necessarily that the raid themselves is bad. The mechanics of the raids are fun when they work.
You have not
That's
seen...
more of what I'm referring to.
Oh, I can't wait till you see the full mechanics of the Crota boss fight.
I've done it.
You know about the ogres?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know about the grave singers?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know about the spawn knights?
Yes.
Probably. I know I've done it.
Put all those together and don't be overpowered and able to handle it. It is a nightmare.
It's difficult, but
way too many things that can go wrong.
no, I don't think Crota's the best. I have a soft spot for Oryx.
Yeah, that's why I put
Jumping on shit's so much fun.
I'll tie Oryx and Crota because you're right. Oryx does have a special place in my heart as well.
I would say Crota the worst. Oryx is number 3, and it's a good raid. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a fantastic raid. Axis, Vault of Glass.
You're saying Vault of Glass is the best fucking raid.
Vault of Glass is the best fucking raid.
Fuck the Templar. That's the only thing I hate. That's the one thing I hate about Vault of Glass is the fucking Templar.
The Templar is one of the reasons I'd say it, because I still say the Templar and Atheon are the best 2 fights in the game. When you do them fully, the way that they're supposed to be done, they're the best 2 fights.
I've only ever done Templar the only way you can do it. There's only one way to do Templar.
There's a couple ways to do Templar. It's just everyone now defaults to the same strategy and cheeses it.
I have never fucking cheesed Templar.
Templar being the guy with the big shield?
And Templar. When I say Templar, I mean that whole fucking kit and caboodle. Oracles and Templar.
Yeah. The Templar fight himself is one of the best things ever.
Fuck the Oracles.
Oracles are what I like about it, because in the actual boss fight, the way that you're supposed to do it is you split into 2 groups. You focus on the Oracles while the guy builds his charge up, and then it all culminates into everyone groups up for one massive push on the boss and then redisseminates out to go take care of everything. It makes for these big crescendo moments during the fight.
The only real problem I had was it was so long, which they addressed. I mean, they're reworking it to make it a little bit shorter.
Well,
but it just felt like a drag.
Yeah, that was the one thing I hated about Templar and Oracles is it was so goddamn long.
The first 2 phases, I agree, are way too drawn out. Those probably should be in another area.
Once you get the shield and you have the ability to blast the fuck out of the Templar, that's when it gets interesting and fun.
I always look at those 2 separate because there's a loot drop in between them. Like, there's a definitive stop where nothing happens until you summon the Templar. So I always look at the Templar boss fight as being the part after the King of the Hill and the musical chairs section.
I guess I've always just clumped them together in my head.
Yeah, that's all one big ass fight.
Because to me, it's like there's that, and then there's all the running around in the next area, and then there's Atheon.
Okay, so
that's essentially how I break up Vault of Glass.
Because of the location of it, I can see why you would dislike that fight. I've always looked at the Templar fight as being separate of the part summoning him.
When you do, like, even Oryx and Crota, you've got the maze, you've got the bridge, you've got the hall, and then you've got the Deathsinger / Crota fight.
Right, which the Deathsinger happens in the same place as Crota, but I look at those as 2 separate
You got
fights.
4 distinct areas. For Vault of Glass,
you have 3.
The maze,
The maze,
the bridge,
and then you have the Gravesinger /
the
Crota
hallway.
fight. That hallway is like an in-between space. That'd be like saying the hallway where you drop down into the Gorgon maze is its own area.
No, but the Gorgon maze is its own area.
Right, and then the jumping puzzle after is its own area.
Oh, I combine those.
They count as one because it's not.
It's 2 separate puzzles.
But it's an in-between part.
It is 2 separate puzzles, but in my head, I've always just grouped them together because it's the run from A to B section.
Right, and the hall is just the end of the bridge section.
Okay, semantics.
I actually agree with. I think the hall is just kind of the
Okay, well
hallway.
then look at Oryx. You've got totems.
This is fascinating.
I know. Okay, fuck it, we're done. I give up. Guns.
No, Oryx. I'll agree. Oryx is a good raid. It's a phenomenal raid.
We're done with that part. We're on guns now.
Fatebringer's back.
Yes, Fatebringer is back with 2 versions. An elemental exotic and a standard legendary version. So if you want the exotic elementals, they're all primaries, which means they're adding crap tons of exotic primaries now.
Well, I mean, it's the same gun. The only thing that makes it exotic is the fact that it's
elemental. But that means they're adding at least 3, if not 4 primaries, exotics.
Yeah, though, don't you just upgrade the legendary to make it exotic? I thought that's what they said.
No, because there's
it's
2
separate
versions.
guns.
2 separate guns. You can get the legendary version that has no elemental on it, or you can get the exotic version that has the elemental buff.
But I think
they're 2 separate guns. They made it very clear that they are 2 separate guns because Deej in the stream had the regular legendary Fatebringer, and then somebody else had the exotic Fatebringer.
Right, but how do you get the exotic? Because
From the weekly from the end, you do the weekly challenge. You have to beat that weekly challenge, and that's how you get a chance to get that exotic.
I was completely confused on how that works. I thought you upgraded the legendary version into an exotic.
Like you would with Necrogasm?
Yeah.
No, they didn't do that.
I thought they were saying that you got like an item from beating the weekly that did that.
No, you get the you have a chance to unlock that exotic.
So, yeah, that's going to be some grind work.
But it gives you a reason to come back every week.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, making the primary elementals exotics, that's a good way to handle what they had their biggest complaint about and the whole reason why they got rid of elemental primaries.
Yeah, I was worried when they mentioned bringing those back. It's like, well, that's going to completely throw the balance out. But making them exotics, you have to replace that other super powerful weapon with this just to get a elemental.
They personally mentioned because they brought up the Black Widow. They're not bringing Black Widow back because
Black Hammer.
Because they have Spindle.
Black Hammer.
Yeah, that why the Black Hammer.
Black Widow is a spider, things that Skyler hates.
Yes.
But the the Black Hammer. They're not bringing it back because one, it's the Spindle already has the ornament that makes it look hivey.
Oh yeah, it turns it into the Black Hammer.
And then they've already, and then it's for all intents and purposes, the Spindle is the hammer. So,
Yeah,
But
I
they
can
did
respect
say
that.
they did say it's a new Black Spindle. So
no, it's the
did
same
they?
one.
Well, they specifically said new Black Spindle. I even have a quote. It says new in quotes.
Because this is the one that's up there. That's the one with.
Maybe it's a new way to get it rather than having to do the very specific secret.
Maybe that is what they
mission?
referred to.
Maybe that's what they mean.
I
But
thought-
look, there's your Fatebringer.
I thought maybe it would be like there's a legendary version of Black Spindle, which the Black Hammer was the legendary sniper for Crota's raid. So maybe it's just now a spindle instead of a hammer. Still legendary, still all the other spindle stuff. just-
Maybe, I
But
don't
maybe
know.
no elemental to it.
Or maybe you
Well,
have a
it's
chance
it's a secondary, so it's got an elemental.
maybe you have a chance at getting it. It's like added to the loot table for.
I don't know.
For
I'm
the
curious.
Crota?
That'll be interesting because if I can get a legendary Spindle, that would be fucking awesome.
But would it have the same perks?
It would have to. Because that's what everything. The Fatebringers are the exact same, except the exotic has the elemental primary on it.
But maybe it's the same perks as the Black Hammer. They're just calling it the Spindle now.
Well, Black Hammer was actually more powerful than Spindle, if they were the same.
So
one.
that would be worse. Okay.
Yeah, because the thing with Black Hammer is every time you got 3 headshots, it gave you a new clip. It didn't use any ammo.
Oh, okay.
So it was infinite ammo.
God, could you imagine doing Golgoroth with that? That'd been fucking great.
Better yet, could you imagine doing any spider tank? Because it was fucking great.
So, actually, this one was kind of funny because you just got your Crux, but Necrogasm has been updated.
Yes,
It's-
they're upgrading all auto rifles.
Well, they've got the auto rifle, just general buff, but they've actually changed how the Necrogasm works.
Yeah.
Okay, I have not read how. How do they do it? Because they tried to buff it before, and it still was the most depressing raid exotic of all time.
So instead of, when you
Headshot.
get a kill, the headshot is what causes an explosion. Mm-hmm. This one, any kill can cause the explosion.
Okay, that makes it a decent gun,
And from
in my
what they were
opinion.
making it seem like, it's not just like a Firefly explosion. It's like it's a...
Well, it's a curse throw.
It's a cursed thrall explosion.
Yeah, that's what it...
Yeah.
So it's kind of in between a Firefly and a Dragon's Breath explosion.
See, that I'm good with, because if you got the headshot explosions, it was a cool effect, but it cropped up so, randomly that it just wasn't useful. It made the gun one of the worst auto rifles in the game.
Yeah. That's
But-
what they mentioned is it's so hard to get a precision kill. Let's fix that.
Yeah,
And
with
it
an
is-
auto rifle.
And it is going to come with an ornament that actually makes it look pretty cool. It gives it like this green glowy vibe to it. It's really cool.
The best thing they did for that gun originally is when they took off the moniker that if it shoots a thrall, it had that chance. Then they made it if it shoots a hive, it has that chance. And then I think finally somewhere down the road they just said if it gets a headshot kill on anything, it has a chance.
Yeah.
they're changing the way the this is a little off topic on weapons, but they're changing the way the Scories ornament or the Scories artifact works. You only start recharging everybody else after you get a kill.
So and I don't know if
that's
it's
probably for trials.
well,
Yep.
it's in PvP. It's all PvP.
No, it works for PvE as well. They did say PvE.
Oh, so I was actually walked away with that question. I didn't know if it was both or if it just was PvP.
It's across the board.
You know what? I know exactly why they did it too. Because what was Destiny's mantra moving into year 2? The whole reason they got rid of Yalahorn. They want to get rid of gateway items that people say you have to raid with us. And I can easily see where if you don't have Scory's Harmony, you can't help us get our supers back faster while we're waiting to start the boss. We'll get someone else.
Well, they didn't ever mention raiding, which is why I left kind of questioned. They never mentioned PvE when they were talking about it. They only mentioned in PvP, specifically in trials, where people would cower somewhere, wait for their supers to charge up, and then go attack.
Yeah, they'd camp in the back with the guy with Scories, and then they'd go charge with.
Was a very annoying strategy.
But it worked, and I get that's why they're doing it. So they changed it across the board. So even in PvE, they said it's going to be really easy to do because you'll be able to get kills left and right. PvP, it'll be just as quick, but they made an emphasis on Trials of Osiris.
It does put less pressure, though, on having where people have to have Scories equipped in raids just to charge supers in between fights.
I'm just annoyed as hell that the fucking Trials people, looking back at it through most of Destiny's lifespan, the reason Bungie has had to go in and fix so much shit is because of the fucking Trials people.
Well, when you put a competitive game mode in that stresses high levels of skill, any little imbalance, and that's the reason, is because any little imbalance, any cheese that someone can do invalidates everything other players have worked for. I mean, the second that you have a strategy where, all 3 of these people have icebreakers, okay, well, unless all 3 of us have icebreakers, they're just going to sit there and all 3 are going to shoot the same person the second he shows up. But they never have to move.
But you're exactly explaining metagaming.
Right.
Which is a problem in a competitive thing like this.
So why not
which is
just
why
give
they have to keep
everybody
making
the same
changes.
thing like in Halo? You give everybody the same weapons and say, go at it.
Oh, I have said from the get-go, I wish Trials was basically they made a set loadout for each week, and you got to choose your loadout, and that was the loadout everyone goes into Trials with.
Yeah.
See, that
I would absolutely love.
Or like you go into it with gunsmith guns. You get 10 gunsmith guns you get to pick with. You have to pick which gunsmith gun you get to use.
No, because the problem still comes down to perks.
Yeah,
I think perks are the big issue.
The gunsmith guns don't have perks.
Yeah, they do.
Once you level them up, I'm saying you go in with just base guns, no leveling up.
I'm fine with guns having perks because there is strategy and there is tactics to using them. I like that about Destiny, that we can have the same gun and use it differently.
Sure.
I've always said if Trials is supposed to be purely skill, the only difference in choice should be your class. And even then, there was a heated debate between me and some friends about whether, I mean, really, is it fair if you have different class makeups? But that to me should be the big choice. Not, are you going in with 3 icebreakers? Do you all have 1,000-yard stare? Do you all have party crasher +1?
Yeah, or specifically, do you have these guns with these stats?
With these proper perks? I mean, I luckily, after years of playing, got a Matador with some brutal rolls. My games using that Matador are child's play all of a sudden. I feel like I don't have to work with this gun because it is just such a powerful weapon.
Which is why they've also fixed the special ammo. When you die, you lose all your special ammo. You got to go find it.
But that's why they keep having to fix it, is because those power weapons show up and it just completely destroys everyone who doesn't have them. And they got to find some way to adjust the meta.
I know. I'm aware. I'm still pissed. They fucked with my favorite LMG.
Oh, I hear you. Trials has ruined a lot of my favorite guns. I'm sad that I had to go so long without an icebreaker.
So, I had a sad moment during the stream. I didn't realize they had debuffed Red Death at one point. That made me so sad. I guess I hadn't played long enough and they had just done a quick little patch to healing abilities. But I went in and played one match just by myself. And I was like, man, I can't get a kill to save my life.
If memory serves me right, when Destiny first came out, Red Death was the strongest gun in the game because its perk wasn't if you get a kill, you have a chance at getting your health regen. It was every time you get a kill, you aggressively regenerate health.
Yeah.
Aggressively meaning health regen does not stop until you are at full health, even if you are currently taking damage.
Yeah. And then I know they changed it, I think in year 2 even, where taking damage would stop it. You would
Yeah,
have to get
it's-
another kill to start replenishing again. And they've changed it even more where it only affects health.
Yeah. It was pretty ridiculous when it was just you could stand there, hold the trigger down, and you'd be healing faster than people could hurt you.
Yeah. I understand bringing it down from that, but apparently they agree. They brought it down a little too far. So I wasn't getting my heals, and I was dying a lot. And it was sad.
They are nerfing hand cannons, speaking of stuff that's getting nerfed.
Oh, my Fatebringer won't be as much of a Fatebringer.
It's not much of a nerf. They're
It's a slight
reducing the
tweak.
range by 3 meters. It's not like
Yeah, that's not
the
going to affect
only
much.
difference.
They're taking everything away. Basically, the best way I can describe it, they're taking things away from the hand cannons and giving it back to the assault rifles.
A lot of the balancing that's gone on over the past 3 years is really a lot of just hyper stylizing the gameplay of certain weapons. I mean, shotguns are the best example. Shotguns went from being like a shotgun, a real world shotgun, to just short range 2. Yeah, if it's touching somebody, it's probably a one-hit kill. If they're a foot away, it maybe does half their health, which, granted, Destiny shotguns still have the most ridiculous range of any game, so maybe that's not the best
Do you
example.
not understand how a real shotgun works?
A real shotgun pellets spread, but
No. They spread, but not as wide as you think. And
they still
do
stay in a cluster.
They stay in a cluster, and they shoot fairly far.
Right, that's what I mean. When they started, shotguns were like they were in real life. It had decent range in a cluster, but people were sniping with shotguns, so now shotguns are to the point where it's like a blunderbuss. If it's right in front of you, it works.
Well, that's how video games have to do it. I mean, that's since shotguns have been introduced in gaming, that's how they've had to do it.
Right, it's just they've super stylized each type of weapon.
Yeah. Because the gameplay's got to be fun.
Right, no, I'm not complaining about it. I agree with them on it. It's just, that's the story of PvP in Destiny.
Yeah.
I guess the story of really any PvP with RPG type elements.
I really want to beat him with PvC today.
But what am I doing to deserve PvC beatings?
We call them PV beatings.
You know what you did. You know what you did.
Apparently you shit on the carpet. And he's looking for a newspaper.
What newspaper? I got a weapon stick.
Makes me so happy that you fumbled that.
But Destiny, I'm excited. I am genuinely excited for Moments of Triumph. I really am. I'm excited to go after these new raids because I never did the year 1 stuff. So I'm excited to go after some of this year 1 stuff and see what the bitch is about.
We did do a lot of year 1 stuff. We did the activities at least.
We did the activities, but I never did the year 1 stuff in the heyday.
To be honest, the thing I'm really excited about is, like you mentioned, you guys really like the Crota raid, which is good. It's good that you like that raid because a lot of work went into it, and at one point in time, people spent like $20 to $30 on it. But I cannot wait until y'all are in the actual Crota fight, having to do every single mechanic at the same time, and not being leveled enough to where you can fudge a few. To where, hopefully, they fix it a little. The absolute perfection that was required for Crota will make you cry.
Well,
No, they're reworking both Vault of Glass and Crota, so it's going to be a bit different.
because you also have to think, tethers weren't around. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but we were talking about, would the tether work on Crota to stagger him? So you can get a few extra sword hits in. Nobody has ever been able to figure that out because it doesn't work on the year 1 version. But will it work for year 2?
I'd be
Probably
interested
not.
to see something like that. I'd more so be interested to see if the tether allows the sword to do more damage, because there wasn't anything like that in year 1 that buffed everyone's damage. Because with the Crota fight on hard mode, and I know this for a fact because if you didn't know this, you screwed your entire raid team over, you had to hit him exactly, no more, no less, 11 times, and then stop. Because the final time you hit him, it took exactly 13 strikes to kill him. And when you hit strike 12, he summoned unending oversouls. So if you could not hit him twice, you had to cut it and had to wait.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I mean, it was an amount of perfection that was just ridiculous, where you miss one swing, it threw the entire raid.
And I'm sure it's not going to go that far.
No, they're like I said, they're reworking all the raids, so it's probably going to be a bit better.
Hopefully.
God, I hated.
So to
Code
keep
Way
this
back in
from
the day.
being a solely Destiny episode, I want to talk about a game I've been playing because it isn't Destiny, at least not yet. I picked up a game that is really weird and I love it to death. It's a murder mystery set in northern Canada, in a village in northern Canada, in roughly the 1970s. You're a private investigator who was called in to investigate some vandalism
Did they
at
steal
this-
the maple syrup?
at this house. At this house, I pointed at Skyler. No, not yet. At this house.
You're pointing at. You said I'm pointing at Skyler.
Yeah, I pointed at Skyler. Because he
We're
made
at
a maple
house where
syrup
maple
joke.
syrup might have been stolen.
Anyway, there's a big rich an English businessman, which at the time there were some revolutionary Canadians who did not like Englishmen in their villages. And he called you in because of vandalism. Turns out he was murdered. Now you got to solve the mystery. But it's kind of like an adventure game. I would even say kind of like old, Day of Tentacle or Grim
Ooh.
Fandango. It's kind of a cool adventure game style with
Now you have
survival. Not exactly. It's not going to play like that, but it's that type of gameplay. It's that adventure. It's that searching for clues, finding all the little pieces to solve puzzles, that kind of thing.
I really like those games. Did either of y'all ever play Grim Fandango?
No, I never played the original.
Really hard game because it had some really weird puzzles. Really, really fun game.
That's one thing. This game's not super hard,
Okay.
but there is a survival element in there that can fuck you over pretty quick, I learned. And there's some combat. There's wolves around that you have to watch out for. But this game is fucking cool.
I saw something, and maybe you can explain this. Is your note system Polaroids that you take?
You have a Polaroid.
Okay.
So because you're a private investigator, you have a Polaroid camera, and there are certain things that you need to take pictures of for your investigation. Certain things that you're finding. I'm going to try not to spoil anything.
Fair enough. I know what I saw was basically just I watched the trailer for it, and I saw there was some stuff where took a picture, pulled out the actual Polaroid, and then stuffed it into a book.
Yeah, you don't keep every picture you take because you can take a bunch of pictures. There's all kinds of weird phenomena happening with the pictures themselves, and you can use that to follow clues forward. But so you don't keep every picture you take, but you keep the important ones.
Okay, I thought that was maybe your way of taking notes in the game.
No, he just kind of automatically jots stuff down as you find information.
Still cool though.
Yeah, really cool game. Here's the thing though, and I will point when I'm ready. I'm almost there.
You got to remember, I'm having to.
I'll do like that.
I'm having a bottleneck.
Here, I'll point as well.
Okay. We're coordinating here.
It's team pointing.
So, before I bought this game, of course, I did a little bit of research on Steam because it had an early access version on Steam for a while. And I tried to figure out, okay, what is this game without spoiling anything? All I found is, it's an adventure game. Cool. I like adventure games. Little survival in there. Cool. That makes it difficult. This is a very tense experience in the same vein as Gone Home. So, did y'all play Gone Home at all?
Negative.
Watched a video of it.
Okay. Well, the big thing with Gone Home, and sorry, I'm going to spoil Gone Home, you're in this house, and it's kind of creepy. There's a lot of lights off. There's these weird noises happening. There's a storm outside. It's very creepy, very tense, and at no point are you comfortable. The entire time, you're like, is something going to jump out at me? Is there a monster somewhere? Is there some big thing? And it turns out there isn't. It's all in your head, which I thought was incredible game design. To make me think that I'm playing a horror game when actually it's just like a point-and-click adventure.
There's always a monster, Fred.
There wasn't in Gone Home.
The cake is a lie.
Well, I mean,
So-
you could argue that your mother was kind of a monster, but
Well, there was no actual monster in Gone Home.
There's always a monster.
So, I went into Kona thinking it's a point-and-click adventure game, not sure if it's a horror game, and I had this thing this moment happened, and I just had to capture it because it was so beautifully well done. By the way, yes, this is what the majority of the gameplay looks like.
This looks like Supernatural.
It's just a fucking blizzard.
Yeah, that might get a little hard to look at over and over again.
I thought it would, but it's a minimal style that works very well because they use the fog, the distance there. You see the draw distance things kind of slowly peter in. They use that to great effect throughout the game.
They killed demons at that house. Are you sure this isn't Supernatural?
Not 100%.
I gotta be honest, fog is like my least favorite thing that they implement in horror games. I hate fog.
I love it when done right.
I mean, I love the experience, but...
And again...
we'll touch on this maybe a little bit later. You know, fog to me is like the creepiest thing.
And again, this isn't a horror game. This is the Gone Home effect. The entire time I'm like, is something going to come out of the woods? The whole area is just this wooded thing. You got the blizzard, so you can hardly see. The fog's in there. The whole thing makes you want to feel like something's coming after you.
Does no one care that you're just in their homes?
No one's here. That's part of the mystery. It's like, where'd everyone go? Why is everyone gone?
Oh, jeez. You had to pull out a flashlight. Horror game 101. You have to pull out a flashlight.
It's not a horror game.
You cannot pull out your gun.
Hey, it's a good thing he's holding it that way. You know why? Because you can use the flashlight as a weapon that way.
It's weighted. That's a
very-
callback to a joke we made prior to this recording.
That's a very odd place to set up a bedroom.
Something had to be watched.
You work with what
It's
you got,
northern
man.
Canada in 70s. I don't know what their architectural style is.
Canada. Look at that. You get up, you're going to hit your head on the roof.
Followed by a hurry.
This is
Hey.
why nobody takes Canada seriously. They don't. Are you fucking kidding me?
But look at this. The static on the TV, kind of an iconic horror thing. Again, at this point, not sure if it's a horror game.
Can't even afford. Okay, are you kidding me? Look at that. Are you telling me you would not hit your head when you got up?
You're way too interested in that. I have no fucking clue. It's 1970s.
I'll give him.
There was a
that
lot of
bed-
drugs.
That bed right there is a little weird.
Am I wrong?
That one I can agree with Steve on.
So I may actually have a bit of audio happening here in just a moment because there's an audio thing that happens.
Am I allowed to turn on the audio?
No, I'll do it in the recording.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all are gonna miss it.
Aw.
I know when it happens because
Oh damn, that's a little icy.
it's right there. I just suddenly heard a bunch of clanging and a broken window from downstairs.
And he slowly goes back upstairs. Nope.
I was like, what the fuck was that? By
Time
this
to use
point,
my flashlight as a weapon.
Nope, he's getting a hatchet.
by this point in the game, I hadn't encountered anything. No creatures, nothing alive. So I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I like the idea of just scared man. I got an axe.
It's a dog.
It's a wolf.
Does he kill the dog? Do you
It
kill
was
the
a wolf.
Do you kill the wolf?
Well, fucking watch
Don't
the
kill
video.
the wolf.
Okay.
Wolf's more scared of you than you are of it.
Bullshit.
Well, and that's what I was kind of investigating. It's like, okay, I've got a hatchet, but do I have anything else? I actually had the meat. I didn't know I could throw the meat, and that would kind of distract the wolf. Mm-hmm. Which is one way of getting him to clear out of an area. So, yeah, I kind of fumbled. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to have to take a hatchet to this motherfucker.
Have at you. You went after the drapes instead.
No, it ran.
See, more scared of you.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wile E. Coyote even closed the door behind him.
That was pretty nice. It's a very polite wolf.
And vanished into the ether. Because it's nowhere to be found and there's no tracks.
Now that would
Which
be a
was kinda
serious
creepy.
note moment.
Okay, so the rest of this is just me kind of wandering in the snow. Pull up a screenshot real quick, because I didn't know this was also in the house. Again, not sure if this is a horror game until I find this picture. Fuck this game. This was in, next to the bed that you were complaining about, you'd hit your head. This was in the dresser right next to that. Or the
Le
drawers.
Monstre? Le Monstre?
It's French.
Right.
It's
Le
Canada.
Monstre.
Le Monstre?
That was a very tense experience when I'm playing the game. Less tense when you're trying to describe it to people, I guess. But
I mean, okay, so it's a kid with what? Blue? Are there sunglasses?
don't know. And
Obviously,
who
he
says
has
it's
two
a
pet
kid?
wolves. Yeah, he looks taller than trees.
I mean, my first thought was actually Slender Man. I thought, there's no way this is a fucking Slender Man game, right? I don't know. I didn't know at the time. I do know now. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's actually a really cool payoff.
So what I hear you saying is that this Kona game is definitely worth. It has value to it.
It did for me. I mean, it's $20, so there's a lot of people who are going to say it's a point-and-click adventure for $20. I'm not interested. I dove into the storyline. I wanted to know every detail about every person that was in this village, about everything going on. By the end of the game, I knew the history of everything. It was awesome.
Question.
So,
How much of a quote BioShock effect does this have, where you have to go look in every nook and cranny, every corner to find stuff?
well, that is a point-and-click adventure.
Okay.
Point-and-click adventures are all about searching the environment to figure out how to progress.
Okay.
So that's what this is.
Okay, so that answers that question.
I like that you attribute it to BioShock. I know because it's the first time you really experienced that.
Sure.
That's like the oldest genre of video games.
Well,
Yeah.
when I say the BioShock effect, you both know exactly what I'm talking about.
Point and click adventure.
Yeah, we've had that talk before.
Well, no, I get what
Essentially.
he's saying. The fact that BioShock is one that's to an extreme of every counter could have ammo. There could be a voice recording on any shelf.
The fact that you have to look in a box for a fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's to the extreme.
That's every point and click adventure game.
But for a 3D,
Or every adventure game, I would say.
for a 3D adventure game, that's usually not the norm.
Yeah, it is.
For 3D,
Absolutely is.
I'm going to
Okay.
take his word over yours, Skyler.
How many games has he asked, does it have a BioShock effect? And our reply is, oh, absolutely.
I can see though attributing it to BioShock.
Pretty much every single RPG. Am I wrong? Most first-person shooters nowadays, aside from the extremely linear corridor shooters like Call of Duty, I mean, even fucking Doom had you searching nooks and crannies for stuff.
Yeah, the new Doom, because weren't there all the secret rooms, the dolls?
There's secret
Okay.
rooms, there's all kinds of collectibles and audio logs and things to find.
Fine.
Plus, you're
the
finding-
Wolfenstein effect. That's the first game I can think of that had the secret rooms.
The LucasArts effect. What do you, I mean, this has been around forever.
Borderlands!
The fucking Zork effect. Zork? That's the name?
No, you did not go searching in Zork because everywhere you looked, you'd be eaten by a Gru.
But you had to search.
I am Groot.
Anyway, Kona is a really fucking cool game. For people who like that, there's not a lot of action. Even the combat in it is pretty lackluster. Like, I do have to kill some wolves every now and then,
No.
but it's like 2 hits from a hatchet, and it's very clunky and kind of lame. The puzzles are pretty simple overall, although they do require you to explore the details of the environment to figure them out. Like, there's one cabin at the very end of the game that you have to unlock with a key you find in a shack. That shack is unlocked by a key you found at this person's house. And the only way you know that all this is connected is through a series of letters from employee to employer who owns this cabin.
It's less like brain teaser puzzles, more chain of connection puzzles.
It's more logic puzzles, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah. Not super complicated, but it requires you to keep track of a lot of information. And they've got a great journal to help you with that. Great map. Actually, one of the best maps I've seen in games. Love the game. Absolutely fantastic. There. Done.
So another game came out this week. It's already been out on Apple devices, but Super Mario Run is finally on Android. And it's a game.
You hate it, don't you?
I actually
Now
hate,
you see why I bitched about it, don't you?
No,
don't
I actually
you?
hate that I can't stop playing it because there's not a ton of substance to the game, but it's a lot of fun to do, like the Toad rallies. It's a fun game. It's a good way to kill some time, which is what a phone game is.
Would you actually spend $10? Knowing what you know now, would you spend the $10 on it?
No.
Yes, only because it never, ever, ever asks you to spend money again.
So you would buy it on principle?
False. You can buy extra coins for the Toad rallies.
Okay. I'll take your word on that. I've not seen it yet. I'm at the max number of tickets that you can have for that, and I've been at the max since I started playing and have not dropped.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it has in-game microtransactions.
I've not seen them, and I can't find anything that I need to spend them on. If anything, I am more coins than I need, way more coins than I need, and way more of those tickets to do the PvP type stuff, which it's like a pseudo PvP. It's not really.
What it is it's like I'll run the game, and then my ghost character jumps into the game. And then you basically race that ghost character.
But it unlocks more stuff if you continue to be other people's ghosts.
Oh, so yeah, like any racing game or anything like that.
That's the best
Okay.
example.
It's fun to kill some time. I actually didn't spend $10 because if you have Android, you should have the Google Rewards app, which is the best thing ever. It literally is just... The one thing is you do have to turn on your location tracking, so I know a lot of people don't want to do that. So that, I would say, is the cost of the app. But it's literally just, hey, did you go to Starbucks today? Tap, yes. How'd you pay? Card, cash, debit? I paid debit. Here's 50 cents. Go spend that on something.
Are you soliciting surveys from people right now?
No, it's just, that's the app. And through that, I managed to pay for Mario without spending a dime. I've bought a couple things off the Play Store that way. The one caveat is you can only use it on the Play Store. But
I don't know. I don't spend enough time on my phone.
You text and call people. That's all I've ever seen you really use your phone for.
Well, I do emails, and I actually keep track of my YouTube channel through it.
So
YouTube.com/minuswalkthroughs. I keep track of that through here. So like if I get a comment or even notifications, then I can respond to them directly through my phone.
So you use it for actual more professional reasons. So
Yeah, we'll call it professional.
You use your phone as an adult, basically.
If
Sure.
adults make dick jokes, yeah.
So, but you see my point. He uses it as a mobile gaming console that can make phone calls and text messages. You use yours as a real adult,
Honestly,
man-child.
I
could probably get away with a BlackBerry at this point. That's how I use my phone.
I like to say it's a mobile media device, thank you.
Oh, and I listen to music. I do listen to music. A lot of music. And take notes for this podcast.
I took notes! I'm going to make that a shirt. That's going to be one of our first shirts. I took notes. Because you know when I take notes, I'm serious about something.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Am I wrong?
It means
No.
you actually paid attention to it for a while. It's a tricky thing to do.
It's a true story. My mouse pad and my mouse are lighting, making colors, and it's making me happy.
Extra money well spent.
You and your razors.
I fucking blame Daniel. So after Daniel
is his
sent out
fault.
that picture on our group message of the RGB video cards, I started looking at ways I could make my room RGB.
I would not do an entire room that way. That's just going to hurt.
No, but like adding backlights to stuff. Like I can add a backlight behind the TV.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should. That's actually very good for your eyes. Just have a soft white light behind your TV. It's very good for your eyes. But
Turns out Chroma has real world applications.
But no, I'm not going to make like the whole
They're
room
called LEDs.
rainbowy. That's weird.
I thought that's where you were going with this, so
No.
maybe that makes you weird.
Like maybe adding lights underneath all the tables.
Why?
So we can get rid of all of these lights.
But I like these lights.
That bright white light that's blaring me in the face hurts my head. Which is why I'd rather have more.
Change the bulbs.
Fuck you and your logic, okay? We already have this motherfucker over here
Hello.
who uses fucking logic. God damn it, Skyler! God damn it!
Hello.
I lost my fucking train of thought!
It worked. It finally worked.
Okay, so fuck you and your logic. I'm just saying,
You can be funny.
he has his moments. It's a very rare, far and few between. It's when he's not trying. He has the ability.
You see, I like to think that the drought between them is like year 2 of Destiny. It makes the end really well when the payoff happens.
That was your age of triumph. It's over now.
Okay, you're done. So, but yeah, I just looking at it, I was like, I could add so much RGB shit in this room, just regular lights to under things, and make it work.
So can we
You
turn
and
this-
Daniel are two most complicated fucking people I've ever known.
See, I'm just imagining that we turn all the lights off and it just glows up from the ground and we make this into a rave room.
Well, like what I was actually thinking about doing is moving the couch a little bit out putting like a table space behind it and putting lights back there.
I don't know.
I
we
don't
have
think
room
you're
for
looking
that.
at the same room as me.
Yeah, we already don't really have room with these tables.
Okay, you can move your desks pretty much buddy bump up against Fred's stuff.
No, you can't.
Why?
Because then I can't get out.
Yes, you can.
Because it's almost touching your current
Oh,
table.
I'm getting rid of this table. This is going in my room.
Okay, lead with that next time.
No! You have to follow the Steve train of thought. You're
Yeah.
the only one in this room that can. If
That's
you
not
can't,
following train of thought. That's just not giving information.
Shh. You should be
That's
able
like
to-
saying,
you should be able to think like Steve. If you can't think like me, then all of this is for nothing. And we're
if
all
I can't
screwed.
think like, so I'm supposed to assume that you're just going to remove a chunk of furniture that's currently very useful for your computer.
Yeah, I'm
Please,
getting-
it makes perfect
I'm getting-
sense.
That's like
obviously.
it's like thinking, I just assumed you were going to get rid of the couch.
Well, yeah, obviously. Can't you read his mind?
If some motherfucker would have bought the couch, then that would have been fine.
That was a different couch.
No, I was going to sell Skyler that couch that he's on.
But I like my couch that I got.
How much did you pay for your couch?
I don't want to say.
Because I guarantee you, what I offered you, that couch was cheaper.
I guarantee you that this couch probably would not have fit in my apartment.
Probably would have.
I don't think so. My apartment is 515 square feet.
Yeah, that would have fit.
After everything else that's in the apartment?
The apartment I moved into after Fred and I lived together was 490 square feet. And that big couch I had before fit.
Okay, well, I like the couch I got. It
If I
matches
had a
my bed.
mic, I would drop it. Instead, I'm dropping the Tums.
Same effect.
Oh, y'all are done.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
We wanted you to tell us whose dick is bigger.
So now that I'm...
Oh, I know I'm bigger.
Mine. So now that I'm a mind reader, I'm going to end the show because now I got to use my special powers for some cool shit, right?
Let's make a Marvel. Let's make a
That's
Marvel
okay. I didn't want
series
to talk
about it.
about Mass Effect.
I mean, we're an hour and a half in. Hour 20.
Okay, I'll save
Next
Mass-
week. Next week because you'll have gameplay.
Yes, I will have
And they
gameplay.
might have
There
patched
you
some
go.
stuff.
And I will be farther into it. And shut the fuck up!
Hey, it's not my fault we spent an hour on Destiny.
Yeah, I know. But you know how we get. We get going.
And going and going and going. Ray Wiley Hubbard would be proud.
Did we ever say who we were?
Nope, but we're out.
These anonymous people, we're out.